What's up, everybody? This is Dan here. We got a lot to talk about. I don't have a lot of light in here. I didn't really think it was necessary. I'm not the focal point of the video. We're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk, the very sad assassination of Charlie Kirk that happened 2 weeks ago now. This is my first video on it. I've gone back and forth, and I have flip flopped my opinion of what happened. Um, Probably a dozen times, and I'm glad I gave myself enough time so I didn't have to keep making videos trying to justify why I'm flipping flopping and what I'm thinking and what my thoughts are, and just listening to everybody else. And even all the channels that we listen to, a lot of those guys have gone back and forth about body armor, whether or not he's wearing it, where the shot came from, one shooter, two shooters, was it a 30-06, was it not? So everyone's been flushing out all the ideas, which is awesome. You're just going to quickly get through all the bullshit and then try to focus on what's real. Um, that's where I've kind of been doing, and I even started to forget about all the shit that the FBI gave us and all the clues they gave us, and I just went back to the videos and watched it, even though it's awful. And when I play it here for you, I apologize if you're watching this video. We're trying to get to the bottom of who we can trust in this country and who killed Charlie. And unfortunately, we're dealing with something that's a little grotesque, a little gruesome, very, very sad. UPS driver. So, if you are going to proceed to watch more of this video, we're going to get into the moments before, after, during, all different angles, and we're going to talk about what I think. I like to call myself a realist. I like to be able to be someone who can see through the bullshit. Unfortunately, with all the misdirection that we get from our government, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. It doesn't really matter what you talk about. They're very, very good at dividing people's opinions and then quickly making something else happen so that we don't even have time to talk about it and we're on to the next thing. That being said, I hope nothing else major happens before we can figure out what happened to Charlie. I don't think that was the shooter on the rooftop. I don't know if he ever had the gun. We have no video evidence of the gun on the roof. Unfortunately, we just have him running, jumping, running, reassembling in the woods, and then we have 1,000 details around this case that just don't make any sense at all. Literally, they make no sense from literally from all angles, from the gun, the noise of the gun, the penetration, the lack of an exit wound, the conversation they had, the guy being in was that Taco Bell, doesn't really matter where it was. All there's the his boyfriend's missing, his dad turned him in. We're gonna talk about a bunch of it. This first video, we're gonna try to talk about what we see in the videos themselves, and we're just gonna break it down. There's a lot to go through. I might show some other people's opinions on here. Might show some other people's opinions on here and what they think, and then maybe we'll either agree, dissect, play devil's advocate. But this will probably be a pretty lengthy video. If you do care about getting to the bottom of this, I hope you watch, leave comments. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you see things in the video I don't see. Hopefully, I'll have a decent amount of angles, videos, and people's thoughts in this video besides my own. Please share, uh, repost, whatever we can do. I know my algorithm already wants me to move on, even though all I've been watching, literally all I've been watching, was coverage on this. Most of it's private, you know, other YouTubers who are really dissecting this. And I know through the algorithm, my YouTube won't even recommend me videos. I got to search and I got to go to their subscription pages and I got to actually look for them. And I have watched a lot at this point. It's been 2 weeks and I've been dissecting this nonstop. So let's go ahead and talk about from the moment of impact before what we see, what we think. Once again, guys, I'm sorry we have to talk about this, but we do have to take America back. Our country is very sick, and we can't forget about things like this. The more we do, the sicker it gets. Um, so thank you so much. Please click subscribe. Let's get find the bottom of this. Let's get this video shared. Let's find out if this helps at all. If my opinion is just another garbage opinion, but let's. I'm going to show you what I've found so far. I'm going to show you what I've seen. Everybody's bouncing around back and forth. He got shot in the front. He got shot in the back. You know, maybe it was a close range handgun. Where's the exit hole? And everyone keeps bouncing back and forth trying to figure it out. And we're going to talk about my thoughts in a minute. But Jesse on Fire here released this, I think, 2 days ago. And he was like, proof, never seen before footage, best angle. Proof he got shot from the front in the neck. And I was like, huh? I watched the video, and we're watching it here. And to me, this doesn't prove anything more than all of us had already kind of thought. We all had our own opinions, and I think most of us think even if you did get shot in the front, there's more to the story than what they're telling us. Whether they're shooter had accomplices, which it certainly seemed like people in the crowd working with them. There's a lot to talk about. So I looked at all these videos, and I just I went at it like I was a private investigator, and someone hired me to figure this out. Someone called me, said, "Hey Dan, I'm gonna give you like, whatever. Just get to the bottom of it. You get $1 million, private investigator contract, however that works." And so first thing, I locked out all the noise. I locked out the narrative. I locked out where the guy was on the roof, what size caliber round, all of that. And I just started watching video of what happened before, after. Obviously, while I'm watching it, I get everyone's opinion along the way. So I've listened to hundreds and hundreds of people's opinions, tell me what they think happened and what angle they think he got shot at, and what bush he was in, who did it. you know, uh, but most of it didn't make sense, and most of it contradicts each other. And I think at the end, we're going to end up maybe figuring out why. Um, but you're going to see that there's not a single angle that you can absolutely tell what happened. This angle here shows 3, 4, 5 shady gentlemen doing very suspect things after the moment he gets shot. All of them looking extremely guilty. All of them. From the video, this angle I like more than Jesse on Fire's, because you can actually tell that it looks like he didn't even fall out of the chair on his own, which is what I thought when I thought he got shot. I hate to be so graphic, guys, but in the back of the head, kind of right here, down through the neck, elastic, and eventually I thought he fell towards the way the bullet was pushing his momentum, and he fell out of the chair. When you watch this video, it looks like a guy ran over there and pushed him out of the chair. Making sure that he got to the ground behind the table where no one could see anything. It was very, very, very suspect. Let's actually rewind it one more time, and we'll just talk about that briefly before we go on. So you can see right here, let's just watch it from the beginning. Here he is. He gets shot. The guy runs over and pushes him down before he actually fell. And if you watch, you can see 2 men in black shirts dive behind the table, or one crawled, one dove. This guy in the plaid shirt jumps across. And not all of them are trying to assist Charlie. It looks more like a mugging in the middle of New York City, where a whole bunch of people go over there and pickpocket him and then run off. And you'll see that's exactly what happened. But as far as talking about, right now we're trying to figure out where the gunshot came from. And was it a gunshot? Was it a sniper? What exactly happened? You can't really tell from this angle. So we're going to move on. All right, here, this was the groundbreaking release. Talking about the splatter in the back of his head. And this is what got me when I first saw this. I was like, yo, he got shot in the back of the head, period. You can see the blood splatter. And then after you see the blood splatter, between where you can see the hole in the neck, meaning it happened first in the back and then came through the front. And I was like, that's an exit hole in the front. No doubt about it. Exit hole right here. Entrance hole right here. Downward angle where you see the splat. Exit hole. It all made sense to me. There's even a frame coming where you can actually see what looked to be, because now I'm not so sure. I thought it was definite. I thought it was 1,000% the bullet, and it looked like you could see the bullet pushing through the skin of his neck before it finally punched through. And then what it looked like to me was after the bullet punched through, it grabbed his shirt and pulled it. And where I think Jesse on Fire got it wrong is the shirt released and he saw the back fly up after the bullet let it go. So you get through the head, out the neck, catches the shirt, flings the shirt pops up in the back, and it all happens so quick that all angles are confusing. All right. So this is where I got to. And then this morning I woke up and I listened to 2 videos that were very convincing, talking about exits and entrance holes and how they believe the doctors and miracle bullets, and how they shot a moose once and the bullet traveled all the way to the moose's toe. And I listened to a former sergeant, I think, in the military. I'm not trying to get it wrong. We can find the video if you guys have questions, where he talks about, different wounds he would find in the military, and miracle bullets do happen. But a 30-06 is a ridiculously large shell. The thing's massive. All right, guys. And the next video, when we get to some conspiracy theories, we'll talk about the type of damage they do, and I'll release that video, and I'm going to show you that it just doesn't make sense. So then I watched another video this morning as I was about to make a video, and again I'm like, it just doesn't make sense that you can literally see the bullet poking through the skin of his neck, and you can see it. They slow it down, and obviously it's grainy. All of this is shot on cell phones, but you can see it. That doesn't make sense to me. So, like, what's going on? But then I watch a video, and they're showing how what people think is a piece of the bullet tracking in the air after impact, but it appears to be going backwards. When they watch the video, you can see the bullet, and then the next frame, he's still not hit, but the bullet's going the other direction. So I thought, oh fuck, well, that doesn't make sense. So then I started flip-flopping again to, like, did he really? Everyone, I watched 3-4 videos, and I showed you a little list of the people in the beginning. I'm talking about all the main players, all their big opinions, and they're all kind of flipping back to he got shot in the neck. It's probably what the main narrative says. The narrative that the FBI gave us is probably the most likely to believe. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I've hunted, I've shot, I've been on ranges my whole life, and a little common sense says a 30-06 shell, even at half speed, lightweight, whatever you want to make, is going to blow something apart. There's going to be too much energy to contain inside a human. And I know it could happen. Charlie's a little man. I watched all sorts of videos on rubber gels that flip up and rotate over, but all of them are like this long. Charlie's neck is like this. All right, especially I'm not being mean. He's an in-shape, healthy man. He's not a big guy. It's not a lot of mass there. So now I'm back to thinking, just my eyes can't lie. I see the bullet coming out of his neck. So for me, he's still getting shot in the back of the head by a second shooter. Maybe there was a gunshot coming from the shooter on the roof, although we don't have a video of a gunshot. I mean, the shooter firing the gun is what I mean. Sorry, I'm watching the video on screen and I'm thinking about all other things I want to say. So maybe it was an airsoft air pellet gun, something like that. Uh, High speed, something from 22 caliber all the way up. I don't think it's a large caliber, but I saw a 357 pellet gun. Maybe it was a silenced sniper rifle. Maybe it was a camera mounted gun behind them. It all sounds insane. It all sounds like crazy conspiracies, but this is where we're at. All right. So on screen right now, you're seeing Charlie before he got struck. And to me, this is the most compelling proof of a video we have is this angle and the evidence we have from it. I honestly think he closes his eyes right here. And I think from one frame where he closes his eyes, he's dead before he ever has a chance to open them back up again. So he gets shot while his eyes were closed, right there. Eyes closed. And I think whatever hit him in the back of the head, because I don't think it was the neck, because you can see, if you pay attention, and it's slowed down, you can see his shirt and his neck swell before you can see whatever type of wound is on his neck, whether it be an entrance or an exit hole. You can see him puff up, and you can see whatever that splat is before you can ever see any type of wound. I think that's very important. I think it's very telling. I think it's super, super the key piece that we're all missing. So right now, he got shot in the back of the head, maybe even from a camera mounted pellet gun, airsoft gun. I mean, I can buy a gun for $600 that could do, it would be very dangerous for the wrong person to own it. And I'm not working for the government. I'm not the FBI, the CIA. We're not Mossad. We're not Israel. We're not any type of secret op with future tech guns that average citizens aren't going to be able to buy on Amazon, right? So I'm back to he got shot in the back of the head. You can see it before it comes out the neck. And then that's where I'm at. Now we got to talk about all the sketchy people that are around him. And there was a guy who ran over and unplugged the cameras. It stood on his chair. There was no crime scene lockdown. Behind him, there was gentlemen doing hand signals right before the moment he got shot. Right, and I mean right before the moment he got shot. There's two bodyguards who don't look the least bit surprised that he got shot, and then they jump over a table. And then what we're going to get to next is probably the most crazy thing I've seen so far. And there's been two theories so far I haven't really given thought of mine to. So there are a few people working on alien tech or drones up in the sky above them, maybe some type of UAV. And there are many sightings on many cameras spotting them in the sky. I haven't really known what to think about that other than maybe they were testing some type of surveillance system to see if they got their target. Flying over a UAV, somebody wanting a confirmed kill, maybe. To me, that's the only real place I've gone with it yet. And then the other one it was probably an explosive that was on his person, in his microphone, maybe, maybe in the strap, maybe in the device, maybe in the microphone, maybe in the speaker. I don't know. I don't know exactly what his microphone looked like, but I do know that Israel's done bombings with pagers and cell phones, and that people often do. Look at this guy behind him right now, sketchy motherfucker. And I didn't give much thought into that, it was an explosive device, because you could hear the gunshot, but the gunshot, I'm 99% sure, was a cover for a softer gun, an air pellet gun. a sniper rifle,
It was
maybe a sniper rifle, um, something like that. And the gunshot we heard covered it. Maybe they even had two gunshots, so you can't triangulate anything. I don't believe this was a one man climbing on a roof. I think that man on the roof got into position, maybe fired a gun, maybe he just had a firecracker, maybe he just had a blank in his hand. Who the hell knows? Maybe he discharged some type of firecracker, noisemaker, pistol gun that made the noise. And at the exact time, what it looks like to me is they were getting hand signals, tap, tap, wiggle, wiggle, guys in place, our decoys in place, and whatever the actual take the shot, that's what it looks like happens to me. The guy in the roof is a decoy. They wait for the guy to get in place. There's some hand signals behind him from what's his own TP guys, turning point guys. But that doesn't, almost 90 something percent of crimes in life, whatever it is, happen by someone you know, someone you trust. Why would this be any different? Um, so I would say somebody infiltrated his team. And then in a conspiracy video tomorrow, we're going to have to talk about who we think is actually maybe corrupt, who's dirty, who was part of the inside job that I think it had to be. Um, so then this morning, I'm back to thinking that's exactly what happened. I'm back to thinking he got shot in the back of the head. But then I come across a final video that I'm going to show you. All right, so I watched a video that shows the bullet in the air going backwards, what we assume is the bullet in the air. And I'm like, oh, damn. And then that guy who says that and that argument that it was probably a fly or something and that we're all a bunch of fucking retards, he says that he got shot in the neck. Mainstream narrative's probably right. Yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, oh, shit. What's going on here? Now, I'm sick of flip flopping. I'm sick of watching other people flip flop. So somehow, the video we're watching right now, these two gentlemen are having a very civil conversation. They're actually doing an awesome job. They're going back and forth, and they're talking about one guy's belief versus another guy's, and that sounds stupid, but here's maybe why it's right. And they're going back and forth, and the older gentleman is a little more of a tech guy, the gentleman with the glasses on, and he's talking about speeds of cameras and frame rates and how when it's a high speed frame rate, the camera gets confused and it needs to choose where to put an object. And sometimes, even in the future, it'll place it in the past. So then my brain goes, if he's right, maybe that is the bullet in the air. The camera can't pick it up in every frame. And because it can't pick it up in every frame, it has to choose where to put it. And he said he's come across this many times in his life, and that it's just how modern day cameras work. So now I've wanted to make a video for 2 weeks. I just got mind fucked back to back in a matter of 40 minutes. Each video is probably 20 minutes long. And one guy's making fun of the ghost bullet, saying it's a fly. And then this other gentleman is saying, no, this is how cameras work. That's the bullet caught on camera. And he believes it went in the back of the head, like I thought, came out the neck, like I thought, caught the shirt, went down his shirt, and then fell on the floor beneath him. Now, this serves some type of merit because, and there's too many videos I've watched, and trying to find something you've watched once turns into hours worth of losing your mind and getting burned out. But I heard eyewitnesses say that they thought they saw the bullet fall to the floor beneath his feet after he got shot. So now I'm back to thinking he gets shot in the back of the head, and that it is what it is. In the shirt, maybe the bullet does. And then we watch videos talking about how they're paving over, and they're paving over because chances are that bullet is in the ground. They dig up the grass. Maybe they find the bullet, maybe they don't. They put pavers over it. They make it look like it's a fancier type of ceremony now, or a fancier type of memorial for Charlie Kirk. And no one's supposed to think of it. This exact same thing happened in the Vegas shooting where the FBI was out there paving holes in the pavement, repaving over the holes. It happened in the Trump assassination where they're up there with a fire hose in the body and the blood hours after, and then a guy gets cremated without anyone even knowing. Here they have a memorial 2 days later. No autopsy report, no multiple autopsies, no 5 different autopsies, no getting a group of doctors together to do it together. We're going to film the autopsy, whatever, some type of way that we're all supposed to be convinced that even his widow is not in on it because it's all starting to smell dirty. And I didn't want to believe that at first. So I'm ready to make this video. I've been mind fucked twice in a row. And then I come across Mr. Let Go. But before we get to that video and we see what he has to look at and what he's put together, I just want to thank you for watching. I know talking about the bullet going down his shirt and another bullet going into the ground is some inconsistencies in my own story. I'm not saying I know exactly what happened. I'm saying one of those things makes the most sense to me. I don't know if it was a high caliber or a low caliber round. We'll discuss that in the next video when we look at types of damage that rounds should do. And I know a 30-06 does extreme damage, so I don't think it was that. Could have been a 223 or some other type of high powered. It's got to be a low velocity gun though to not make a huge cavity. That's the thing. So it doesn't all make sense, and I know I'm contradicting myself, but we will take a look at that tomorrow. We're going to finish it off with this other theory. You guys have an awesome night. Thanks again. And he's doing a live stream. I click on that, and he's showing close-ups of what I believe is maybe a theory that actually holds water. And he thinks that it was remotely charged, and he's digging through the film, and he's finding a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to leave you off with him and his channel, and we're going to dig through his video a little bit and what he has to say. Guys, if you stayed with me this long, let me know what you think. I don't believe it was a 30-06. I don't believe that guy was a shooter. I don't believe he sent those texts back and forth to his lover. I don't believe almost anything the FBI said. If you have anything you noticed in my videos, please let me know. Leave a chat, leave a comment. The more we share, the more we spread, the more we show people, eventually, guys, they're going to have to fall. You know, their house is built on cards. And we just have to show everybody. Thank you for watching. This is an awful topic to talk about. I'm going to leave you off with Mr. Let Go. You guys have a great night.
Charlie Kirk. This is more proof he jumped across the table to grab the thing and he put it in his pocket. Hence another reason why I am proving that he was not hit by a sniper. So when he jumped across the table, he reached down and grabbed the thing that popped Charlie Kirk's throat. Watch. Put it on the big screen. So he jumped across the table. It's going real slow, right? He reaches down. Look at the guy in the checkerboard shirt. He got it. The guy on the ground in the black just handed it to him. Watch this. He grabbed it and puts it in his pocket right there, runs off. He's gone. But then the other guy grabs something else. Watch this. He kneels down. So it's two different guys. Pay attention to this situation here first. They out the thing that popped his neck. Popped Charlie Kirk's throat. He pulled it out of his shirt and he hands it to him and runs off. So that's the first guy. Now watch this. This guy in the brown runs up, touches him on the shoulder with one hand, and watch the other arm. He sticked it in his pocket. That's it right there. He literally says he gave him the remote detonator. Remember, everybody thought I was crazy when I said it was an air-actuated pellet discharger that popped Charlie Kirk in the throat. It wasn't a sniper. Watch. There it is. He runs away with it. But we're not done. There's another character. Thank you so much, Wife School Podcast. What's up, Stephanie? So he runs off. But wait, there's more. He jumped the table, grabbed, went to the guy, grabbed something else, then ran out in a hurry. We're not done. It gets worse. So now, look at where they started at. So these are the two guys in question. So, because it's two guys, not one. So the guy that jumped off the table is at the bottom of the screen, but then this guy in a black shirt, he does something else. Watch this. So now look at both of them. Charlie Kirk gets hit, bow, right here. Watch this. Now watch the guy in the black and the guy in the checkered shirt. Keep a guy. So the guy in the black is running around and the guy in the checkered shirt is running across the table. Keep an eye on the guy in the black shirt also. So he's jumped over the table. Okay. The guy in the black shirt just ducked down on the other side of the table. So he's crawling. The guy in the black shirt is crawling, right? The two guys see the guy in the black shirt crawling across the side of the table. Then back it up again. He's crawling across the side of the table. Now, the guy in the black shirt, bald head guy with the sunglasses, he crawls across the side of the table while the other guy jumps across. Watch the guy in a black shirt. Right here, the guy in the black shirt is now on his hands and knees, crawling across the side of the table. He ducks down right there. Now, they grab something. Now, the guy in the black shirt is getting up. Right here. He got up and runs off. Y'all see that? He just got the hell on. Why is he crawling across the side of the table and running off? He just runs the fuck off. They both run off. Why? Because they got the detonator. Their jobs are to grab the detonator after it went off in Charlie Kirk's throat. Now watch this. He's like, oh shit, I got to get the detonator. No, I got it. Don't worry about it. You see how he ducks down? Look, he's down at the side of the table. Why is he over there? So his head pops up right here. He grabs something, put it in his pocket. Runs off. Then the other guy grabs something, put it in his pocket, runs off. That's the handoff right there. That is the handoff right there. He gets pop. Pop. And remember I told you, this is how you could tell that Charlie Kirk did not get shot with a rifle. He does not fall out of his chair. You get hit with a rifle, it's going to knock you back. He did not fall out of his chair. The guy behind him in the black pushes him out of his chair. Watch this. He literally pushes him. See? Because they got to get him on the ground in order to take the detonator out of his shirt. Look. He didn't fall. He gets shot and doesn't fall. How can you get shot by a rifle and don't fall? Boom, he gets hit and he's just in his chair because the detonator went off in his shirt and the guy has to push him out of his chair to get him behind the table. Watch this. He pushes him. Put a 1 in the chat if this is proof that he's pushing him out of his chair. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all see this. Because they got to get him on the ground to take the detonator out of his shirt. Boop. Rah! He pushes him. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see him push him. One more time. Rah! He pushes him. Now he's on the ground. Now everybody scatters. That's the handoff right there. That is the handoff right there. He gets pop. Pop. And remember I told you. This is how you could tell that Charlie Kirk did not get shot with a rifle. He does not fall out of his chair. You get hit with a rifle, it's going to knock you back. He did not fall out of his chair. The guy behind him in the black pushes him out of his chair. Watch this. He literally pushes him. See? Because they got to get him on the ground in order to take the detonator out of his shirt. Look. He didn't fall. He gets shot and doesn't fall. How can you get shot by a rifle and don't fall? Boom, he gets hit and he's just in his chair because the detonator went off in his shirt and the guy has to push him out of his chair to get him behind the table. Watch this. He pushes him. Put a 1 in the chat if this is proof that he's pushing him out of his chair. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all see this. Because they got to get him on the ground to take the detonator out of his shirt. Boop. Rah! He pushes him. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see him push him. One more time. Rah! He pushes him. Now he's on the ground. Now everybody scatters and and now they can grab the detonator. Nobody is showing this. Everybody's sitting on, well, I'm an ex-sniper. This is a sniper this, sniper that, sniper. It's not a goddamn sniper. It's a detonating device. I've been saying this shit from day one. Nobody wants to goddamn listen. Send this video to all the sniper dudes so we can shut off all the sniper shit. There's not a goddamn sniper. He pushes them over. Boom. He's on the ground. Now they got to grab the detonator. He hit it right there. Right there. Right there. Boom. Right there. Right there. Boom. Right there. Right there. Boom. Gave it to him. Right there. There was no sniper, y'all. It was an air-actuated pellet discharger. Right here. Boom, right there. Got it. Air-actuated pellet discharger that was placed in his shirt and it posed as a microphone. It wasn't a microphone. So the pellet discharger is sitting here right in his neck, and all of a sudden, boop, because as you can see, he went like this and went like this. If you got shot with a rifle, you would have been like, blue, and you would have fell out of your chair. Okay? He got hit and went like, boop, and went like this. And the guy pushed him out of his chair. There was no rifle. There was no bullet. The thing shot him in his throat, and that's why he went up like that and just went over like this. A rifle bullet would have knocked him out of his chair, and the guy pushed him out of his chair to get him on the ground. So while he's on the ground like this, they could be like, get it. That's what happened. That's what happened. It was an air-actuated pellet discharger that they took out of his shirt and ran away with it. There was no bullet. Right there. Give it to me. Boom. That was a pellet discharger right there. Y'all think I'm crazy. Right there. The air-actuated pellet discharger was the size of this remote control, and it was in his shirt. And that's how they were able to just grab it and hand it off, because they handed off this pellet discharger, and he just ran off once it went off. That's how Charlie Kirk was unalived. This is proof that the sound guy is the person that is the culprit. The sound guy is the person that stuck the pellet discharger in his shirt. Right there. There it is right there. Boom. And this is the reason why the video and sound guy never left the scene, because there was no gun. There was no shot. There was no danger. They had to get them cameras up out of there. Yes, they set him up. And there's a possibility that his own wife had something to do with this. Because if y'all remember, Charlie Kirk started looking around like, yo, something is fishy with IHOP. I don't know much. It's something wrong. And she's just like, Oh, baby, it's nothing. No, it's something wrong, baby. Oh, it's nothing. And she told somebody that, hey, we got to get him out of here. He knows too much. And she said, don't worry about it. I'll take over the company after he dies. It was all a setup by possibly his own wife. So it's two different things. One guy, look at this. You see the pocket right here, right? So I want y'all to look at the guy in the tan pants, not the guy with the checkerboard shirt. The guy with the tan pants. Look at the tan pants right here. Tan pants. Don't look at the guy with the blue. Look at the guy with the tan pants. He put some in his pocket right there. That's his hand in his pocket. They both have their hands in their pockets. One guy has something and the other guy has the other side of the thing. Because most likely when it popped, it broke into two pieces. So they both had their hands in their pockets. You see that? Tan pants, hand in his pocket. And here's another guy. Look at this. He starts looking at his phone. It's a possibility that it's not his phone. It's Charlie Kirk's phone. I don't know. I don't know about that part. But it's three possible items that they have. One, the detonating device, the air actuated pellet discharger. Probably when it went off, it popped into two pieces. One guy grabbed one piece, the other guy grabbed the other piece, and the third guy grabbed Charlie Kirk's cell phone. So look at the guy with the cell phone. So two guys put some in their pocket and ran off. But the third guy, he has whose cell phone? Whose phone is that? Look. I got to erase the shit. Hold on. Let me erase the shit real quick. Let me erase all the files. So he got to the phone and started erasing all the files. Now, do y'all understand that it was not a goddamn sniper? Send this video to Candace Owens. Send this video to all the little sniper dudes, all the military dudes who's breaking down. Oh, it's a sniper. It's a sniper. It's not a goddamn sniper. All right. Now, let's go deeper.
Like and follow for more.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Charlie Kirk's wife worked with a charitable organization in Romania, which was accused of human trafficking? Okay, so that's a lie. That's not real. I've been seeing that. I've been getting sent that, and I didn't post about it, thank God, because I'm like, wait, I want to see how this all plays out.